lights low, camera on me, wave crash in the background. Welcome to the story, stay wavy with the jab TV, with the hook, every round heavy now. Better take a good look, ring bell, gloves up, hear the bass get loud. We make campus
Officially
shake.
4 days away from the fight between Devin Debo Haney and Brian Norman Jr. Devin Haney is looking to become a 3-weight class champion if he successfully defeats Brian Norman Jr. And he's looking to conquer that 147-pound welterweight division, right? Now, this match between Devin Haney and Brian Norman Jr., it's either going to make or break Devin Haney's career. I don't think it's going to make or break Brian Norman Jr.'s career because this is Brian Norman Jr.'s first big step-up fight in his career. This isn't Devin Haney's first big step-up fight, okay? But the fact that Las Vegas and the betting odds, the fact that they have Devin Haney as an underdog, I think this may be the first time in Devin Haney's career that he's an underdog going into a fight. I don't think he was an underdog against Lomachenko. If he was, somebody let me know in the comment section. But the fact that he's an underdog on the betting sites, it just goes to show how much value Devin Haney has lost as a boxer. And that is mainly because of two things. His fight against Ryan Garcia, where he got dropped 3 times and lost before the fight got overturned. And secondly, his most recent performance against Jose Ramirez. If somebody that isn't a regular boxing fan was to watch that performance against Devin Haney and Jose Ramirez, they would say, this is why I stopped watching boxing. What the fuck is this, right? Like, it was an absolute snooze fest. Did Devin Haney win? Yes. Did he win by unanimous decision? Yes. But he barely threw any punches the whole fight, barely landed any punches the whole fight, and he spent a majority of the fight running around the ring like a ballerina. Let's just call it what it is, okay? So there's a lot of questions that have to be answered about Devin Haney in this fight this Saturday. Number one, is Devin Haney going to be a track star for the rest of his boxing career? That performance that we've seen against Jose Ramirez, is Devin Haney going to do that again? Because he did that against a washed up Jose Ramirez, right? That he was bigger than, right? He was the bigger man. Like, you would think that Devin Haney would have walked Jose Ramirez down and punished him the whole fight. That's what I was expecting him to do. I didn't think he was going to knock out Jose Ramirez, but I expected him to walk Jose Ramirez down and make a statement to show people that the Ryan Garcia fight was a fluke. He was cheated against, and he should have shown that I'm going right back to dominating in dominant fashion, right? The same way that he beat Regis Prograis, but he didn't do that. Devin Haney fought against Jose Ramirez like he was the smaller man, and I believe that's because he had a lot of PTSD from that ass whooping that he took from Ryan Garcia, okay? What people got to understand is when you take a beating like Devin Haney did against Ryan Garcia, sometimes you're never the same fighter. That one fight can cause you to be chinny for the rest of your career, and it can cause you to just not be able to take punches, period, right? And that's why I think Devin Haney fought like that against Jose Ramirez. I think he just wasn't confident in his chin. I think he just wasn't confident in being able to take punches because of the damage that he took in the fight before against Queen Ryan Garcia, right? So now you're going in there with Brian Norman Jr., who, if he's not just as hard as a puncher as Ryan Garcia, some people think he's a harder puncher than Ryan Garcia. I disagree. But I see why people would say that, right? Brian Norman Jr. had that brutal KO against Jin Sasaki over there in Japan, right? Brian Norman Jr. has a very good left hook, okay? Just as good as Ryan Garcia, right? Ryan Garcia's, I think, is faster, but Brian Norman Jr.'s, it seems to be stronger. We don't know, but it does look stronger from the outside looking in, right? So Brian Norman Jr., who's younger than Devin Haney, right? Devin Haney's coming up to his weight class, right? Both of these guys are about the same height. They kind of got the same reach. Maybe Brian Norman Jr. has a better reach, right? I'm interested to see how Devin Haney is going to fight Brian Norman Jr., right? I don't think he's going to stand in the middle of the ring. I do think that you're going to see Devin Haney move around a lot in this fight. But is Devin Haney, is he going to make a statement? Is he going to be the one moving forward, or is he going to be the one moving backwards? How is he going to react when Brian Norman Jr. lands on him? Will he be able to take the punches, right? We know for a fact that Devin Haney's going to be looking out for that left hook all night. We know that. I'm expecting Devin Haney to be very fidgety. I'm expecting Devin Haney to be very, very fidgety in this fight, doing everything in his power to avoid that left hook. Because if that left hook lands, he's going night-night. And I'm saying this as a Devin Haney fan. If that left hook lands, he is going night-night. Shout out to Kevin Hart, right? Now, I want to bring this up, right? Did you guys know that when Brian Norman Jr. fought Jin Sasaki, which many people think is the best knockout of 2025, did you guys know there was no drug testing for that fight? There was no drug testing at all when Brian Norman Jr. fought Jin Sasaki. So he could have been on Ostarine. He could have been on the same eggs that Conor Benn was on before he popped dirty. And he could have been on the same chicken that Canelo was eating over there in Mexico that had clenbuterol in it. We don't know, right? So what if Brian Norman Jr., what if we don't see that power this Saturday against Devin Haney, right? What if Devin Haney clearly outboxes Brian Norman Jr.? And what if Brian Norman Jr. doesn't look as powerful against Devin Haney as he did the fight before? Does that mean that Brian Norman Jr. was on the juice? Or does it mean that Brian Norman Jr. just looked good against average fighters? Because one thing you guys have to admit is Brian Norman Jr. has yet to fight an elite fighter in his division, okay? We all wanted to see Brian Norman Jr. fight Jerron Boots Ennis. Jerron Boots Ennis sent an offer. Brian Norman Jr. declined because he decided to take the Jin Sasaki fight because he felt like he was going to get paid more. And listen, that ended up being a blessing, right? Like, that one fight definitely elevated Brian Norman Jr.'s career, right? And now he has a fight with Devin the Dream Haney, right? So I think he made the right choice, right? When it was time to finally make the fight happen, Boots decided to move up to 154. He basically realized he can't make the weight anymore, right? I kind of look at that as ducking, but hey, it is what it is, right? That ship is sailed, right? But you guys gotta understand, man. Brian Norman Jr. is coming into this fight. He's heard everything that people like me have said about him. He's heard people like me saying that he has bad feet and he kind of he's flat-footed like Danny Garcia and he can't move around the ring and the only thing he can do is all he is a power puncher and he got the left hook, right? He's heard everything that the critics have said. And I truly do believe that Brian Norman Jr. is going into this fight to showcase all of his skills. I don't just think he's going in there just to get the knockout. I think he's going in there to just showcase all of his boxing skills that he believes he has, right? But I just don't think those skills match up to a Devin Haney. Devin Haney, he's already been at this level. He's already been in a tough top fight, right? He had a fight with Vasily Lomachenko. Some people think Devin Haney lost to Lomachenko. I disagree, right? I gave Devin Haney 7 rounds, right? I had him edging it out, right? Some people think he lost, right? He's had a huge fight with a Ryan Garcia that didn't necessarily go his way at the time, right? He's been in there with a Gamboa. He's been in there with a Jorge Linares. You guys remember when Jorge Linares rocked Devin Haney towards the end of the round? And then he ended up just, finishing the fight. He pretty much won every round that fight against Linares, but Linares did almost drop Devin Haney, right? So he was showing signs then that he was a little chinny, right? But I just truly believe that we're going to really see, because what I don't like about what Devin is doing is the same thing that he's saying to Brian Norman Jr. This is the same thing he was saying to Ryan Garcia, right? He was telling Ryan Garcia that he's an A-level fighter and Ryan is a C-level fighter and, Ryan's not on his level, taking the Floyd Mayweather talking points, which isn't surprising because for those that don't know, Devin Haney has known Floyd Mayweather since he was a kid. Floyd Mayweather has been on record saying that Devin Haney is the next Floyd Mayweather, and Floyd Mayweather wanted to sign Devin Haney. So for those people that don't know that, you would think that Devin Haney is just glazing, or you would think that he's trying to be Floyd. No, Floyd is his idol, right? Of course he's he's emulating Floyd. That's his idol. That's his favorite boxer. You know what I'm saying? And he actually had a personal relationship with Floyd. It's not like he's just, just glazing. Now, he actually knows Floyd, okay? Anyway, I don't like the fact that Devin has been saying that to Brian Norman Jr. because that makes me think that Devin Haney is underestimating Brian Norman Jr. And if Devin Haney is underestimating Brian Norman Jr. and he's not coming into this fight with the right game plan, and if he thinks he's just gonna go in there and just, make Brian Norman Jr. look mid, just based off of what he's done and based off of Brian's resume, that puts him at risk of potentially losing and getting knocked out, right? I really do hope that Devin Haney is coming into this fight with a better game plan that he did when he fought Ryan Garcia. And listen, I just want to see Devin Haney put on a masterclass performance, okay? I want to see him outland Brian Norman Jr. I want to see him use that jab, because when Devin Haney uses his jab, he has one of the best jabs in boxing. That's undeniable. And I want to see Devin Haney go to the body, similar to like he did against Lomachenko. He was going to the body all night on Lomachenko. You know what I'm saying? Lomachenko had to go to the hospital after the fight because he allegedly broke a rib, allegedly, right? So if Devin Haney can do those three things, right? Jab, go to the body, move around the ring. Don't run, but just utilize moving around the ring. I think those three things will frustrate a Brian Norman Jr. enough to pull off the victory. You know what I'm saying? And I think no matter what Devin does in this fight, the haters are gonna find a way to shit on it, right? Like, they're gonna say he ran, they're gonna say this and that, they're gonna say he's boring. But Devin Haney, he's listened to the fans before. To all of the haters watching this video, that for all the people that don't like Devin Haney, he's listened to you guys before, and that's why he got dropped 3 times against Ryan Garcia. So you should expect Devin Haney to do things how he wants to do it for the rest of his career, okay? Because he tried to satisfy the fans, and they were ungrateful. You guys clowned this man for a year straight until Ryan Garcia lost against Rolly. Even after Ryan Garcia popped dirty for Osterine, you guys still were glazing Ryan Garcia. You guys still were clowning Devin Haney, the man who got cheated, the man who came into the fight clean, made weight. Ryan Garcia was on Osterine. He missed weight. Devin Haney put those things to the side, still made the fight happen for the fans, gave you guys what you wanted, stood in the middle of the ring, and, almost ruined his whole career doing that. So you shouldn't expect him to give you guys what you want, right? The only thing you can expect is that he's gonna fight the guys that you want, but how he chooses to beat the guys that you want him to fight, you can't. Hey, this ain't Burger King and McDonald's, bro. You're not gonna always have it your way, bro. That's just not reality, because you guys didn't appreciate it. You know what I'm saying? So I'm expecting Devin Haney to put on a masterclass performance against Brian Norman Jr. I've been picking Devin Haney from day one to win this fight by unanimous decision. And I think people are going to realize that Brian Norman Jr. is an average boxer. And the reason why he's looked so good his past couple of fights is because he's an average boxer who was in the ring with other average boxers. The fact that Brian Norman Jr. hasn't even fought a Mario Barrios, to me, it just doesn't make any sense. Like, Mario Barrios, like, even though he arguably lost to Manny Pacquiao his last fight, ended up in a draw. Mario Barrios has a good resume. He's been in there with a Keith Thurman, came up short, right? He beat Ugas. Ugas beat Manny Pacquiao. You know what I'm saying? Barrios got a damn good resume. Barrios fought Gervonta Tank Davis, right? Got knocked out, but, before that, he was winning the fight, okay? There's not one boxer on Brian Norman Jr.'s resume that I think is above average. And I think that's why he's looked so good. And even when you look at the fight with Santillan, right? That was a competitive fight. Yeah, Brian Norman Jr. ended up getting the stoppage, but, that fight, bro, it was competitive. It's not like Brian Norman Jr. just completely dominated the fight. He took over in the second half of the fight. You know what I'm saying? So this fight is going to let us know if Brian Norman Jr. is who he says he is. Him and his dad, they've been doing a lot of talking leading up to this fight. And they just come off as arrogant in a way, right? I know Devin Haney too, but like, I feel like Devin Haney can come off as arrogant because he has the resume to be arrogant, right? Brian Norman Jr. and his dad, bro, they talk as if this guy has been in the ring with monsters. Like, bro, like, your son ain't even been boxing since he was like a little kid. Like T.O. and Devin, these guys, like, they all knew each other when they were kids. They didn't know Brian Norman Jr. because he wasn't around, right? He just started boxing a little late, you know what I'm saying? But for him to have the average resume that he has, and for him to just get a knockout against a Jin Sasaki who nobody knows, like, I don't know, no casual boxing fan knows who Jin Sasaki is. The only people who know who Jin Sasaki is hardcore boxing fans. Even some hardcore boxing fans don't know Jin Sasaki. Devin Haney said he didn't know who Jin Sasaki was, right? The fact that Norman Jr. and his dad been talking so crazy, bruh, as if like they the big dog in this fight. Now you got to prove it. Now you got to back up everything that you said Saturday, and we're going to see. I think Devin Haney's going to make it look easy, man. I think he's going to make it look easy. But if Brian Norman Jr. does win, whether it's by decision or KO, I'll give him all the credit in the world. It'll prove that he's elite. But you can't say you're elite until you beat an elite boxer. That's just not how boxing works. It's not how boxing works. You know, if Devin Haney comes up to your weight class, beats you, makes you look like food, then you just were another guy, right? You just were another former champion. You know what I'm saying? But I'm just so surprised that the betting odds is favoring Brian Norman Jr. I mean, they've got to be doing that based off of that KO he had against Jin Sasaki. It can't be based off of resumes, because I just don't get that. You know, the betting odds, they got to be looking at the Devin Haney and Ryan fight. They got to be looking at the lackluster performance against Ramirez, and they look at Brian Norman Jr.'s last 2 or 3 fights, and he's won by stoppage. So I guess that's why he's the favorite on the betting odds. But it's going to be a great fight. I think this will be the best fight on the card. And I look forward to seeing it, man. So let me know what you guys think about this video. It's your boy Wavy, StayWavyTV. Make sure y'all subscribe, thumbs up the video, leave a comment, and let me know y'all predictions, man. Who y'all got winning this fight, man? If you rocking with Devin Devo Haney, let me know in the comment section and explain why. If you rocking with Brian Norman Jr., let me know in the comment section and explain why. I'm out.
Yeah, welcome to the vibe. Stay wavy in the mix, got the culture on the rise. Tap in, hit subscribe, ring that bell, let it ride. We gon' surf through the trends, give you game every time. Reviews, new views, keep it honest, never fake. If you're looking for the wave, this the channel you embrace. Stay